Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Body Armor 4x4 Ambush ST Series front bumper fitting 2017 to 2022 F-250 and F-350 Super Duties. Now this bumper is a great choice for the Super Duty owner who wants their truck to work hard and look tough. It's a hefty bumper with a lot of protection and flexibility, and it's one of the most affordable full coverage bumpers in the segment. The thing that strikes you straight away here is that this is big. It's going to offer full coverage of the front end of your truck all the way out to the edges of the headlights. So this is going to offer plenty of protection no matter what you might encounter. Now the outer sections here wrap around the headlights with the center bar bisecting that main beam and high beam section, so it's not going to negatively impact your headlight output. Likewise, the center section here offers a lot of protection for your grille, but it's not going to impact airflow into the radiator. All these holes are nice and big. And if you're out in the tough stuff and anything does happen to pop up and hit the front end, you've got a ton of coverage here. So it's going to hit the bumper and the grille guard. They're going to take the brunt of it instead of your actual truck. Now this whole thing is one solid piece as well, so it really can take a beating. Further down towards the bottom, we have some other things worth noting. First of all, this little panel here on that side can detach, leaving space for your adaptive cruise control radar to do its thing, which brackets are included for that too. Now the forward-facing camera is compatible here as well if your truck is so equipped. This little panel right here in the center pops out with 4 screws, so your camera has a nice unobstructed view of the front. Now there are also shackle recovery points on both sides, so you can mount some D-rings if you've got some more heavy-duty pulling or off-roading needs. Now there is also a 2-inch receiver right down here in the center, and provisions for up to a 30-inch dual-row LED light bar right here in the center section, which you can cover up with this included piece of mesh to match the top if you don't want to run a light bar. And you've got spaces for LED cube lights on each side, 2 in each pocket. Now one thing that is worth noting here is that this one is not winch compatible. There is no provision for a winch mount on this one. However, you've got those shackle points, you've got the hitch up front, so if you do need to pull something, you should be able to get it done with this. Now, as I already alluded to earlier on in the video, this thing is solid. Everything is welded together. Again, it comes in one piece right out of the gate. You get 2-inch diameter main tubes around here with 1.5 and 1.25 inch diameter supporting tubes, all attached to this 3/16 inch and 1/4 inch cold rolled steel. So outside of the welds, nothing was heated, meaning that none of the material was weakened in the bending and manufacturing process. And of course, the whole thing is covered in this nice 2-stage texture black powder coat to protect everything. So it should be safe from rust and corrosion for a long time. And again, it can really take a beating. Pricing for this one is going to come in at about $1,700, which makes it about the most affordable full coverage bumper in the segment. Now, of course, you're not getting lighting included, and again, this one is not winch compatible, which does help account for some of the cost savings. But this is still a really big, really strong bumper that looks great. It's going to offer you a ton of flexibility and protection for the price. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you can expect this job to take you about 2 hours to complete. Now this might take you a little bit longer depending on if you need to mount your active cruise control radar on here as well, but everything again is just going to bolt onto your truck, no permanent modifications needed. Now you will need at least one other set of hands to do this job though, as getting this bumper set in place requires more than 2 hands. So bribe a friend with some food or drinks, and you can get it done at home in pretty short order. With that, let's hand things over to one of our AT customers who's going to walk you through the process.
All right, guys, for this install of the Body Armor 4x4 XT grill guard, I'm going to be using a impact right there. I can't get into some places most likely, so I'm going to be using also just the socket wrench there too. You're going to be using a lot of the 18 millimeter. You'll be using a lot of that. An extension. There's also a provided Allen key. You're also going to be using some of the 15 millimeter sockets as well, and a 10. You're going to use some pair of pliers to kind of pry apart some of the electrical connections on your original bumper if you've got them, and also some basically screwdriver to help with that too, and use various types of different this is a 13 millimeter as well, so 13, 15, 18, extensions, wrenches, sockets, pair of pliers, screwdriver. That's what you'll be using on this install. Again, using a lot of the 18 millimeter will be taking off the major frame off of the tow hooks and the frame of your original bumper off. You'll be using some of those frame brackets as well. Then you'll be using the 15 millimeter. 15 millimeter will be taking off the side of your bumper from where the wheel well is. So you'll be using those two. That's pretty much all the tools you're gonna need to do this install here. And let's get to it. It's a very heavy duty front grill guard. I think around 250 pounds. So you wanna have some help. But right now we're gonna be taking off the lower part here. And first gonna start off with these, there's a little tab right here you push down and you can pull out here. Little tabs, and that removes the cover. And it gives you access to 4 bolts that are holding this front bumper here on. And same thing on this side. You can see the tab up in there. So I'm gonna push down, pull that out, push down here, pull that out, those tabs, and that'll give you access to this side. But on this side and on this vehicle, I have a front cruise control and object. It's basically there to make sure that you don't crash into, helps you with crashing into. But on this one, you're going to need to have a screwdriver to push this tab in. There's a tab in here, but I'll get a light now to show you what it looks like. Okay, on my vehicle, I have the adaptive cruise control module here, which measures how far the cars are in front of you. This you have to take off this plate here, this front thing, and there's 2 tabs. Basically, you get a screwdriver in there and you pop these 2 tabs off on that side, and there's 1 tab on the other side. And so that allows you to just press in on those tabs there with the screwdriver to get this off here. And so that allows you to get to this also, this module here. And so we'll be unplugging it as well, because it needs to be unplugged. So we'll be getting in there and trying to unplug that, but that probably will have to come once I take these bolts off to take off the actual module. So I'll be working on that now. So I'm going to take off this adaptive module here, adaptive cruise control, and it's going to require 11 millimeter. Take off these nuts here. Last one here. Okay, those 3. Now this should probably, I was hoping pop on off, but it's stuck on there pretty good. You know, it could be bolted from the back too, so I don't know if that's let me try to just see if it'll come off with this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it just pops off these. Yep, pops off there, because we got to get this off to be able to access these other points back here to be able to take off the front bumper. So gotta be able to get this off. Just a little bit of a pain. They're on there pretty good. So I'm gonna try to go ahead and push this clamp to take off this connector. So basically you just push this tab in and it'll take it off from this module here. There you go. I can get a better grip on it. And that's off. So that's your adaptive cruise control module there. Alrighty. And that gives you access to the other 2 bolts that are here, which are on here, over here as well. So you have these 4 bolts that you got to take off to be able to get this bumper off here. And so we shall do that now. Okay, I'm going to take off these 4 basically big anchor bolts here. 18 millimeter. Big bolts. And by the way, these are held with these brackets behind it, so they're gonna fall down. And on this side, it's better to take off the top first so that that bracket holds on the bottom. It gives you something to Yep, so got that. And then now this is the driver's side. So we go over here and we're going to do the passenger side. And I'm probably going to leave in the bolt here. Bottom one, leave it in for a little bit. I already saw a shift in the bumper. I don't know if you can see that. See the shift? It's already got bumper's already loose. So basically what I'm going to do now is what's required is once you get those, you also, there are 2 bolts by the wheels here. This one and this one have to come off. Those 2 right there. And so I'm gonna start taking those off now. And off this side, passenger side and driver side. And that will basically free up the whole entire bumper. All right, so again, these are gonna take 15 millimeter sockets. I'm gonna get in here. And I'm going to go take off the side off the driver's side, same thing, and see what happens. Underneath here, have these tabs you got to take off, and you just kind of wiggle them, and they'll pop off there as well. I popped that one off over here, where it was attached. It was attached up here. Pop that off, and then there was another one attached right here. Pop that off. So now you have your you got to get your light switch here off. So you want to keep that on there and follow it down where it basically connects up into here, so that you can just take this off, because this connects it all together. So you push this tab in, tab's pushed in, and there we go. And so with this pulled out, this frees up the electrical light on that side, and it runs all the way over to the electrical light on this side. So we are going to have to take this electrical lights off, the actual tabs and stuff, because we need to take it off of this bumper. But that's good on that. That also runs, I think that's everything. So now we should be ready to be able to pull off the the bumper with that disconnected there, and then we can take off all the connections off the bumper here when we got it off. So we'll work on that now. Front bumper assembly should come off. I've got it held. It's basically free right here. Basically able to come off. And I've got it held on the other side by this 18mm socket right there, the bolt. So I left that in there. So we're going to take it off now. Make sure that, you know, you push in on this, make sure it doesn't fall off. Make sure that the bumper doesn't fall off on you. I'm going to take this and pull this off. All right, now that the bumper's off, we can start taking off the tow hooks, and you can take off this bottom bracket as well. You won't be needing that. So it, again, 18mm. Taking off all this stuff here. This comes off from underneath. And that will free up your actual tow hook here. And then we're gonna take this off here. We don't need that. We're gonna do the same thing on the passenger side here. Okay, now that we have the factory tow hooks and everything removed, because we're not gonna be reusing those because our front grill guard has tow hook attachments already on it. So you're gonna take these big plates, and they have P for passenger, and then they have a D for driver. So I'm on the passenger side. So you do it where this outside plate goes on the outside. So you slip that over. And then they also provide you with this plate here. And with this, you're gonna put on top, right there. And then they provide you with the bolts. And these are 18mm bolts here. And you use a washer and a lock nut, a lock washer on the bottom. And you just go up underneath. And we're gonna go and tighten everything up here. It screws into that plate that I just put on top here. And I'm not going to tighten everything really hard down right now, because to be honest with you, this bracket may need to move left, right, slightly up, down, you know, so you don't want to tighten it real tight just yet. You want to get it installed, but do your final finishing tightening at the end when you know that the bumper, because if you tighten it all the way and if they're not lining up, the holes, you're gonna have to undo everything to try to get it to line up with the holes on the bumper actually. So you don't want to do that. Finger tightening them there, so I can move it if I need to. Again, 18mm bolts that they supply. You use these, but you have to use your factory mounting double brackets that you took off earlier. I'll show you what those look like. Alrighty. These that I took off earlier that were on the previous tow hooks, you're going to reuse these with the nuts there. So I'm going to go behind here, go up underneath, and just going to punch through here. Just like that. And then so you're going to reuse these just for extra reinforcement. And like I said, I'm not going to tighten everything up. Just get everything finger tightened. And then also, same thing on the other side. You reuse these factory brackets right there and the factory nuts here. So once you have this all tightened up, man, this thing is going to be solid. But I wanted it to move just a little bit. You can see how it moves a little bit. Just gives you a little bit of play room to be able to maneuver a little bit. And with each side giving you play, you should be good to go. And so I'm gonna loosen this one up actually a little bit. This one's a little tight. Okay, good. Alrighty, and so now we're gonna do the same thing on the driver's side. So that's what it looks like with those two installed. Like I said, I left a little bit of play room on the bolts so that you can maneuver it just a little bit so that you can get the bolts lined up when you put the bumper to it. And again, I'm gonna take these off right here. That's gonna just basically swing around and just flap around a little bit while you're driving. So I'm pretty sure they're the 15 millimeter. So I'm gonna take those off right now. 15s are right here. Yep. So that's that. So it's gonna be this bracket here. And there we go. I'm gonna be putting this bracket in. And so it goes basically right in here. And it's gonna be held together with some bolts. So I'm gonna be putting that on right now, just because I'm not gonna install a light bar right now. I might come back and do it later on. I should probably install it now because it's gonna be so much easier to get to, but should be okay. So I'm gonna now work on that. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do is, as you can see right over here, I'm going to install this bracket that holds on this face plate right here, because I'm not putting a light bar on. And so in your kit you have these bolts here, put a washer on it, but you got these bolts. They're 13 millimeter bolts. And so also with these little brackets, you have, it's labeled D for driver, P for passenger. So have that. And so you're gonna come along here. You're gonna come along here. This is gonna be the passenger side. So I'm gonna come along here and I'm gonna put this like this so that it basically is going to stand straight up to hold this bracket. So I'm going to, it's gonna be a little bit of a pain. Gonna do that, a lock washer and a nut. So I'm gonna put this basically through right here. So you have that. I'm gonna put it through here. Then I put another washer, a lock washer, like that. And then I gotta grab a little nut to hold it all on. And so a little bit of a pain to do it all, but I don't know if you can see it, but I know my arm's in the way. But that's it, just like that. So anyways, the lock washer will keep it from actually going and sliding off. So that'll be good. So you got that side on the passenger side. I'm going to now go do it on the driver's side. Get a lock washer and nut. Because now the next step is to put this on there. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Grab another bolt with a washer, another washer, a lock washer, and a nut. So come along here. All right, put it there. I'll tighten all this up at the end. There, like that. Okay, washer and the nut. And I'm not going to tighten down everything big time right now. So that's driver's side, nut and washer. Go right through there. Fits good. And I got the next washer, lock washer, and then this bolt here. Alrighty, that's that. Alright, so we're gonna probably put it right there. That basically completely covers up the whole entire area there. And I'm gonna tighten everything up. And again, this is 13 millimeter. Looks good. Okay, it's there. Looks good. There you go. There, on there nice and good. Here on the driver's side again. Push it there, make sure it's all good and leveled and straight. Okay. 13 again. There we go. Good. So that's that. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go like that and get this plate. Like that, get that plate, put it there too. So it's gonna line all up. I take this bolt here that I have with a lock washer. I mean, not a lock washer, but this one. So I put the bolt through the cover, comes out the back, washer, lock washer, and the nut. And the nut is a 10 millimeter. That, let's do it on the other sides. Go there, go right through the, right through there, lock washer, and the nut. Now, if you don't have adaptive cruise control, it'll be much simpler. You just install the plate that covers over this hole on your bumper, and you don't have to worry about this stuff. So yeah, but I do have that feature on my vehicle. So go here, hold this down with the next one, tighten it up. Tighten it up by squishes in that lock washer. Don't want to go crazy tight on them. You know what? I probably really should just use the okay. Yeah, let me go grab a 13 millimeter socket here. There. Tighten this up. There. We're good. That's going to fit. It's going to attach on the bottom bracket of the bumper here that I'm going to be installing. And then this is going to connect again to the factory harness that was already there. So rocking and rolling, almost getting to where we're going to put this on. Now we're going to attach this adaptive cruise control to the bottom here It's going to be a little hard to see, but there's some bolts that you got to go right through here, and then it's going to fix on the bottom here. So go right through here, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Go right through there. Yep. And there's already a lock washer already attached to that bolt. So anyways, gonna go put a washer there, and then this bolt here. Wants to be a pain, but anyways. There. And we're gonna really tighten it down tight once we get it where we need it. Push this through. Like that. You know, it's just a little off as far as how I need to loosen this up a little bit. So I can slide over this way a little bit. Right there. This nut there. Alrighty, so I'm going to tighten those up more. There again, you're going to use 10mm and Allen key that they gave you. So go in with the Allen key. Yep. So I'm just going to keep on doing that to tighten it up here. So that and yeah, it pushes up in there so that you just tighten those down. Alrighty, so we're getting really close to being done here. I have these brackets here that they're gonna go on the inside of this, and it's gonna bolt to the frame on what I put on the car. So they have these little retainers. So basically, it'll go behind here, go in there, and these retainers fit in here so that it doesn't push through when you try to put it in place, so that it holds and stays. So you just put that retainer there, that clip, and then you just, like I said, you just put these retainers here. I mean, I think you can probably even just screw them in. They're just plastic things to hold, to keep these in place. You can just, yep, just basically spin them on if you get it first started, and then spin it on. And you got this one up here, and they're basically gonna not go. It won't. Basically, when you tighten it up, it's not going to be able to spin on you. So that was the driver's side. Here's the passenger side. There we go. There we go. So that's like that. Try to slide this into the truck. So we're holding this up, just trying to line the bolts up here underneath, and I got one lined up, so I had to pick up on this. And so this is I'm working on the passenger side here, and so you get a washer, lock washer, and a nut. Washer, lock washer, and a nut. But you're gonna have to play with this a lot, because this is it's gonna take some time and patience to get all this lined up here. Shoot. Got that one started. One up top is up there. Then you got one hanging out up top, but you can't see it. But it's up top there. So it's gonna be a pain to get to, but it'll be all right. So I just gotta tighten those up to get that. So now I'm gonna go over to the driver's side and do the same thing. We're gonna have to pick up on this side a little bit higher if we can. It's almost there. Maybe what I need to do is start one and then make it squeeze itself in. All right, guys, so that's what it is. Got one started. I'm gonna basically tighten this down to push it in. I got them started on the other side, and looks good. The one up top looks good. It's through, so that's good. So it's just basically getting it started there, bolting it up. Just a little bit of a pain, but I'm gonna tighten this one up to try to draw it into. So, okay, alrighty, so I'm gonna pull this in and try to get it tightened up here. All right, guys, have it pretty much installed. Just tightening down the bolts, but this is what it looks like. So I'm just tightening up the bolts down below just to get it totally situated, but looking pretty good. Looking really well. It is a heavy duty bumper, so I'm gonna continue to mess with the bolts down low. Alrighty, so got that one bolt tightened up like I was wanting to, which then pulled it in here so I can get these other ones started and done. This one was a little bit funky, this washer, but hopefully it'll be alright. And put this lock washer on. And then this bolt, this nut. And that's all it is, man. Just tightening up everything with it using the 18mm wrench here. Just tightening up everything. Going well. Really tight. There we go. And have the one up top. So that one is there. Put the washer up there. Got a lock washer here. There. Put on it. And then put the nut on it to hold it. Should I get my hand up there to get started? Okay. There. That's on there tight. Finger tight. And then you got a wrench to put up in there. Might have to get a different wrench to put up there. Alrighty. So that's what it's going to be, guys. Got to just work up there, get that tightened up. Got these tightened up here good. Yep. There we go. Then I'm going to come back, tighten these bolts up in here that we need to tighten up right here. These are 18s as well. Got this to where we can now tighten everything up and we should be good to go. I'm going to replug this adaptive cruise control module in. There it is. That's in there. It's on there. And we're good to go.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Body Armor 4x4 Ambush ST Series front bumper, fitting 2017 to 2022 F-250 and F-350 Super Duties. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Super Duty, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.